Right now, you are carrying the power to alter your entire reality, and it only takes 7 seconds, not later, not someday. In this very moment, a simple shift can activate a new timeline where your desires are already true. 7 seconds. That is shorter than a deep breath, shorter than a sentence, shorter than the pause between your heartbeat and your next thought. Yet within those 7 seconds, you can collapse an old story and step into a new one, not through luck, not through chance, but by working directly with the underlying structure of reality itself. You have been taught that change is slow, that transformation requires years of effort. But here is the truth. Your reality is responding to you in every moment. Every choice, every focus, every feeling you hold is a signal, a command, sent into the quantum field. When you shift that signal, even for a few seconds with full presence and alignment, the entire field around you begins to reorganize. Pause. What if this moment is your portal? Feel into it. Imagine a doorway that has always been there, just one breath away, leading to the version of you who already has what you desire. You have brushed past it countless times, without realizing you could simply stop, turn the handle, and walk through. This is not about wishing harder. It is about precision. It is about aligning your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical state in such a concentrated burst of coherence that the universe has no choice but to respond. Science calls it a state change. Mystics call it an activation. In the language of the quantum field, it is a shift in probability, a reselection of reality itself. And you do not need to understand every mathematical equation to feel it. You have had flashes of it before, moments where everything suddenly felt different, where an unexpected calm washed over you or a wave of clarity arrived out of nowhere. Those moments were not accidents. They were you, tuning into the frequency of your desired reality without even realizing it. Now you are going to learn to do it on purpose. 7 seconds is not a countdown to force. It is an opening to allow. It is not about racing the clock. It is about condensing your awareness into such a potent point that the old momentum of your life cannot continue. In those 7 seconds, your past no longer matters, your doubts lose their grip, and your body begins broadcasting a completely different energetic signature. Think about it. A thought held with full conviction for just a few seconds can change your mood. A deep breath can slow your heart rate. A flash of inspiration can rewrite your plans for the day. If such small moments can create such noticeable shifts, what happens when you intentionally merge your thoughts, emotions, and body into perfect alignment, even briefly? This is the essence of the 7-second quantum reset. It is a reset not just for your mind, but for your energy field, the invisible layer of information and frequency that interacts with every possibility your life could take. In that space, reality is fluid. In that space, you are the architect. The beauty of this is that it does not require the right circumstances, the perfect environment, or even a quiet place to meditate. It can happen while you are sitting in your car waiting for your coffee or standing in line, because reality is not waiting for a special occasion to respond to you. It is listening now, always now. And when you realize that the most powerful shift you can make does not demand years of work, you begin to see that you have had the keys to your own transformation all along. You begin to understand that manifestation is not a distant process. It is an immediate interaction with the quantum fabric that surrounds you. So, are you ready to feel what 7 seconds can do? Are you ready to step into a moment so concentrated, so alive, that it becomes the pivot point for everything that follows? Because in 7 seconds, the version of you who already lives your desire can be here, waiting. But to truly reset, we must first understand what keeps looping. Have you noticed patterns in your life that feel stuck? The same financial struggle, the same relationship dynamic, the same emotional spiral you promised yourself you'd never fall into again. That is no accident. Your reality is not random. It is the echo of signals you have been sending into the quantum field over and over, often without realizing it. Every moment, Your subconscious mind is broadcasting a frequency shaped by past experiences, beliefs, and unresolved emotions. Neuroscience tells us that 95% of what we think, feel, and do each day is automated, driven by programs written long before we were even aware we had a choice. This automation is not evil. It is simply efficient. The brain conserves energy by reusing familiar pathways. But what is familiar is not always what is desired. Think of your subconscious as a record player. The needle does not choose the song. It simply follows the grooves already carved into the vinyl. Unless you interrupt the track, it will play the same melody again and again. And because your energy field is constantly interacting with the quantum field, those repeated thoughts and feelings act like a magnet, drawing circumstances that match their tone. This is why willpower alone rarely works. You can make a conscious decision to change, but if your underlying state, your emotional baseline, stays the same, the quantum field keeps returning the same results. Energy psychology shows us that until you alter the emotional and energetic imprints beneath the surface, the outer world has no reason to change. So the question becomes, how do you interrupt something so deeply embedded? The answer lies in micro moments. Moments where you break the pattern before it can complete its usual loop. These moments do not have to be dramatic. They simply have to be intentional. In that instant of awareness, when you feel yourself reacting the way you always do, you can choose to breathe differently. You can choose to imagine a different outcome. You can choose to shift your body posture or speak a new thought aloud. That tiny disruption is enough to signal your brain and energy field, we're no longer playing the old program. Your nervous system responds instantly to such changes. Studies in neuroplasticity confirm that new neural connections begin forming the moment you practice an alternative response. Do it once, and you have created a crack in the old structure. Do it repeatedly, and you have rewritten the code entirely. Emotion is the glue that holds your patterns in place. If your repeated thoughts are coated in the same emotional charge, frustration, fear, disappointment, they stick. But the moment you change the emotion you attach to a thought, you weaken its hold. For example, when you notice the familiar worry about money rising, instead of feeding it with tension, you flood it with gratitude for a small abundance you have right now. That emotional mismatch interrupts the broadcast. And here is the subtle truth. The quantum field does not care if the emotion comes from something real or imagined. It only responds to the frequency itself. This is why you can shift timelines by feeling into the state of your desired reality even before it arrives. When you start interrupting your own loops, you reclaim authorship over your reality. You stop being the actor trapped in a repetitive scene and become the director who rewrites it. This does not require force. It requires awareness, choice, and the willingness to pause long enough to send a different signal. And remember, your life does not change in one giant leap. It changes in the accumulation of these micro shifts. Every time you interrupt the old pattern, you strengthen the new one. Every time you refuse to give the same emotional response, you rewire the energy you broadcast. Every time you break the loop, the quantum field recalibrates to match your new state. So start watching yourself. The moment you feel that familiar story beginning to play, stop, breathe, shift. Even if it is just for a few seconds, those seconds are enough to change your signal. And when your signal changes, reality must follow. To change the pattern, we must zoom out and see what reality really is. Everything you see, touch, and experience feels solid, permanent, fixed. But beneath that appearance lies a truth that both science and spirituality agree on. Reality is not solid at all. At its most fundamental level, it is energy. Energy organized into patterns. Patterns held together by information. Physicists call this invisible backdrop the quantum field, a vast ocean of possibilities existing all at once, where particles are not fixed in place, but exist in a cloud of potential states. This is the realm before reality takes form, where matter is not yet matter, and outcomes have not yet been chosen. In the quantum field, you are not locked into one version of life. You are surrounded by countless versions, each waiting for your signal to collapse into form. Wave function collapse is the scientific term for what happens when potential becomes actual. A particle exists in many possible states until it is observed, and the moment attention is applied, it chooses a specific one. The observer effect, proven in countless experiments, shows us that observation is not passive, it is participatory. You are not simply witnessing reality, you are influencing it by the act of perceiving. But it is not just your eyes that observe. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are also forms of observation, ways of focusing energy that tell the field what to bring into form. Imagine the quantum field as a massive, invisible code base. Your inner state is like a programmer's command, running scripts that create the external world you see. Change the code, and the output changes. This is where ancient spiritual traditions and cutting-edge science meet. Mystics have long taught that reality is shaped from within, that what you hold in your consciousness eventually becomes your lived experience. Quantum physics does not prove spirituality, but it does reveal that the universe is built on principles that make such teachings possible. The energetic blueprint you broadcast into the field is not just a vague vibe, it is a coherent signal, made up of your dominant thoughts, repeated emotions, and unconscious assumptions about what is possible for you. That blueprint determines which version of reality will solidify around you. Think of it like a radio signal. The station you tune into determines the song you hear. If you do not like the song, you do not fight the music, you change the frequency. Here is the challenge. Most people keep tuning to the same station without realizing it. Their mental and emotional patterns broadcast the same code into the field every day, so the field keeps delivering matching outcomes. That is why life can feel repetitive, why change feels slow, why nothing ever seems to shift. It is not that the field is unresponsive, it is that it is responding with perfect accuracy to what you are unconsciously sending. Once you truly understand that the quantum field is always listening, the game changes. You stop thinking of reality as something happening to you and start relating to it as something you are actively shaping. You realize that every thought you nurture, every emotion you dwell in, is a direct instruction to the field. The quantum field does not judge. It does not filter out negative or positive. It simply reflects coherence. If you feel unworthy, but focus on abundance, your signal is conflicted, and the field mirrors that confusion. But if your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs align in harmony, the signal becomes clear, and reality reorganizes itself accordingly. This is why awareness is your greatest tool. When you notice what you are broadcasting, you can decide whether to keep sending it. You can shift from unconscious repetition to deliberate creation. You can choose a new internal state and hold it long enough for the field to register it as your new baseline. The quantum field is not some far-off, mystical space. It is here, now. In every breath you take, you are already inside it, already shaping it. You cannot step outside of it, just as a wave cannot step outside the ocean. The only question is, what signal are you sending? When you learn to see the field, not as a theory but as the living, breathing foundation of your life, every moment becomes an opportunity. Every interaction becomes a chance to shift your code. Every emotion becomes a tool. And the most important element in all of this is your signal, the vibration and frequency you are broadcasting into the quantum field. Because the field does not just reflect what you think you want, it reflects what you are. But the signal you are sending into this field matters more than anything else. Right now, in this very moment, you are sending a signal into the quantum field. You may not hear it, but it is there, constant, steady, and incredibly influential. It is the sum total of your thoughts, your emotions, your body's chemistry, and even the subtle electrical patterns of your heart and brain. This signal is what tells the universe who you are and what to mirror back to you. To understand this signal, you need to know the difference between vibration and frequency. The two are related, but they are not the same. Vibration is your immediate energetic state, the way you feel right now, in this moment. It is dynamic, shifting with your thoughts, your environment, and your focus. If you wake up feeling grateful, your vibration is high. If you get stuck in traffic and feel frustrated, your vibration dips. Frequency, however, is your long-term energetic pattern. It is the average of your vibrations over time. Think of vibration as a single note, while frequency is the entire song you have been playing for weeks, months, or even years. While a high vibration in the moment can create temporary openings for change, your frequency determines the overall direction of your life. Here is why this matters. The quantum field does not just respond to fleeting moments of good feeling. It responds most consistently to your baseline frequency, the enduring emotional and mental tone you carry. If your frequency is rooted in scarcity, even moments of joy may be overridden by the deeper long-term signal of lack. This is why quick bursts of positivity are not enough to create lasting transformation. You could meditate for 10 minutes, feel amazing, and still see little change. If the rest of your day is spent in anxiety or doubt, your frequency acts like a magnetic field, continuously drawing in experiences that match it. From a scientific perspective, your vibration is tied to immediate changes in your nervous system and brainwave states, while your frequency is shaped by the wiring of your neural pathways and the chemical balance of your body over time. Spiritually, vibration is your moment-to-moment presence, and frequency is your embodied identity. Both are crucial, but frequency is the signal that carries the most weight in shaping your reality. The beautiful thing is, you can shift both. You can learn to lift your vibration in seconds, and with practice, those consistent lifts begin to reshape your frequency. When you align the two, when your moment-to-moment state matches your long-term identity, your signal becomes clear, coherent, and irresistible to the quantum field. So pause and ask yourself, what am I vibrating right now? Is it openness, gratitude, possibility, or is it resistance, doubt, or fear? And beyond that, what frequency have I been living in? Has it been a song of empowerment or a song of survival? You do not need to judge your answers, just notice them, because the act of noticing is the first step toward changing your signal. Awareness interrupts the autopilot, and once you have interrupted it, you can choose a new note, a new song, a new state. Your vibration is the quick access point. It is where you can make changes instantly. Your frequency is the deeper transformation, the rewiring that ensures the new state becomes your natural default. Together they form the complete broadcast you send into the quantum field. And here is the most empowering truth. The quantum field is always adjusting to your most consistent signal. It does not matter where you have been, it matters what you choose to radiate now, and what you choose to repeat until it becomes who you are. So how do you reset that signal? Instantly, from within. 7 seconds may not sound like much, but inside those moments, entire neural pathways can be interrupted, emotional states can be recoded, and your energetic broadcast can be completely rewritten. In that small window, your brain and your body can shift from running on the momentum of the past to aligning with the future you desire. Here is why. Your brain operates on patterns, loops of electrical activity that run along well-traveled neural pathways. These loops are built through repetition. The more you think a thought or feel an emotion, the easier it becomes for your brain to repeat it. That is why old habits and reactions feel automatic. They've been reinforced over and over until they are the default route your mind takes. But when you do something different, even for a few seconds, you break the loop. In neuroscience, this is called pattern interruption. By consciously shifting your focus, altering your breath or changing your posture, you send a new signal through your nervous system. If you hold that new state for 7 seconds, your brain begins to disengage from the old pattern and create a new point of reference. From a physiological perspective, those 7 seconds are enough to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for calm, clarity, and restoration. This is why breath is so powerful in the reset process. A slow, intentional breath can lower heart rate, regulate blood pressure, and shift your brain waves from beta stress to alpha or theta relaxed receptive states. In this state, your mind is more open to new possibilities, and your body becomes a better receiver for aligned opportunities. Energetically, this is where coherence comes in. Coherence means your heart and brain are working in harmony, sending a synchronized signal through your entire body. The HeartMath Institute's research shows that when you achieve coherence, your electromagnetic field becomes more organized and powerful. This field extends several feet beyond your body, and it is part of what interacts with the quantum field. In 7 seconds of focused presence, you can bring your body into this state, effectively amplifying your signal. And it is not just about calm. In those 7 seconds, you are also creating an emotional override. Most people try to change their reality while still carrying the emotional tone of the old one: frustration, doubt, fear. The reset works because it bypasses the old tone and installs the feeling of your desired reality right now. When your brain and body feel as though the desire is already fulfilled, your energetic broadcast changes instantly. Think of it like switching the channel on a television. Before the reset, you are tuned into a station playing the same story you have always seen. When you consciously shift for 7 seconds, aligning breath, thought, emotion, and posture, you click the remote. A different picture appears. At first, you might only see static, because your system is not used to this new channel. But the more you hold it, the clearer the image becomes. This is why the reset does not require hours of meditation or months of affirmations to take effect. Those practices are powerful, but the quantum field responds to coherence and clarity, not time invested. 7 seconds of true alignment can be more potent than an hour of scattered focus. It is also why you can do it anywhere, no special setup required. Whether you are about to walk into a meeting, sitting in traffic, or lying in bed, you can pause, breathe, and step into the state of your desired reality. Your brain will notice, your body will notice, and the quantum field will notice. But here is the key. Those 7 seconds are not just about feeling good. They are about imprinting a new reference point into your system. Every time you do it, you are telling your brain, "This is who I am now. This is the state I return to." And your brain begins to rewire accordingly. The old pathways weaken. The new ones strengthen. The emotional chemistry in your body shifts to match the new signal. Do this once, and you will feel lighter. Do it consistently, and you will change the foundation your reality rests on. 7 seconds is enough to interrupt the autopilot, enough to reorient your signal, enough to bring your mind, body, and energy into the same precise alignment. In those moments, you are not hoping for your desire, you are broadcasting it as if it already exists. And in the quantum field, that is the most powerful thing you can do. 7 seconds of real presence can do what years of effort often cannot. But emotions, they are the real anchors. Let us talk about that. Your emotions are not just reactions to life, they are the selectors of your timeline. In the quantum view of reality, every possible version of your life already exists as a potential. Which one you experience depends on the energetic signature you hold most consistently. And that signature is determined, more than anything else, by your emotional state. Every emotion you feel sends a chemical signal through your body. These chemicals, neurotransmitters and hormones, not only affect your mood but also influence your brain's wiring and your body's biology. Over time, the emotions you repeat become a kind of baseline, a familiar home your system returns to. Whether that home is joy, gratitude, resentment, or fear, your mind and body will unconsciously seek it out again and again. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls this emotional addiction. It is when your body becomes so used to a certain chemical cocktail that it craves it, even if the emotion itself is painful or disempowering. You might not want to feel frustration, for example, but if your body is used to the chemical signature of frustration, it will unconsciously create situations that trigger it, simply to get the fix. This is how old realities keep looping. Your body remembers. Your emotions act like a GPS signal, locking you onto the same route you have traveled before. Even if you consciously decide to take a new path, if your emotional state stays the same, the GPS keeps guiding you back to the old road. But here is the power in this awareness. The moment you change your emotional state, you have changed the coordinates. The quantum field responds to that new signal instantly. This is why it is not enough to think about your desired reality. You have to feel it. You have to step into the emotional atmosphere of it, even before it is physically here. Think about the last time you received genuinely good news. Your posture shifted. Your breathing changed. Your mind became more open and creative. That is what happens when an elevated emotion floods your system. It creates physiological changes that alter your energy field. The quantum field does not wait for the news to arrive. It mirrors the emotion you are already holding. This is why the 7-second reset works so quickly. By intentionally stepping into the feeling state of your desired reality, you override the body's emotional addiction to the past. Even if it is just for a few seconds, you break the loop. And every time you do, you weaken the old emotional pattern and strengthen the new one. Of course, the mind will try to pull you back. It will remind you of the reasons you should keep feeling the old way. It will try to argue that nothing has changed yet, that in the language of the quantum field, the change happens first in your energy, then in your experience. Holding the new emotion is the bridge. So pause and notice, what emotional state have you been living in most? Is it aligned with the timeline you want, or is it keeping you tethered to the one you are trying to leave behind? Your emotions are not reactions, they are timeline selectors. Choose them deliberately, and you will find yourself stepping into realities that once felt impossible. So how do we break free from old emotional loops? Instantly. In the language of energy, coherence is harmony. It is when all the parts of you, mind, body, and emotion, are moving in sync, sending a unified signal into the quantum field. And when that signal is clear, the field responds with equal clarity. From a scientific perspective, coherence happens when your heart and brain are aligned. This is not just poetic, it is measurable. The HeartMath Institute has spent decades studying the electromagnetic field generated by the heart. What they've found is that your heart's signal is far stronger than your brain's in influencing your body's systems, and it extends several feet beyond you, interacting with the environment around you. When you feel frustration, fear, or anxiety, your heart rhythm becomes erratic. This is called incoherence, and it creates stress in your body while sending a chaotic signal into the field. But when you feel gratitude, compassion, or appreciation, your heart rhythm becomes smooth and ordered. This state of coherence creates physiological benefits, balanced hormones, improved immune response, and greater mental clarity. More importantly, it also changes the quality of the energetic field you project. Think of it like tuning a musical instrument. When your strings are loose and out of sync, the sound is jarring. But when everything is tuned, the music resonates. Coherence is that tuning for your entire being. Here is what is remarkable. You can create coherence instantly. In as little as one slow, intentional breath, combined with a shift in focus toward an elevated emotion, your heart rhythm begins to change. In about 60 to 90 seconds, your brain waves follow, your nervous system calms, and your body chemistry starts to match the new state. But the energetic signal begins to change almost immediately. This is why coherence is the gateway to the 7-second reset. If your signal is fragmented, the reset won't hold. But when you enter coherence first, even briefly, you amplify the power of those 7 seconds exponentially. It is the difference between whispering a command to the quantum field and speaking it through a perfectly tuned amplifier. From a physics standpoint, coherence also means your waveforms are in phase, which means they add to each other rather than cancelling out. When your thoughts, feelings, and physiology are aligned, their energetic output is stronger and more organized. That organization is what the quantum field hears and responds to. Incoherence, on the other hand, is like sending a scrambled message. You might be asking for abundance with your mind, but your emotions are broadcasting fear, and your body is radiating tension. The field can only match the composite signal, and so it sends back more mixed, unpredictable results. Creating immediate coherence is not complicated. You start by shifting your breath, slower, deeper, more rhythmic. Then you deliberately focus on a feeling like gratitude or love, not as a thought, but as a genuine sensation. Picture a moment in your life that evoked that emotion, or imagine a scene that would, as you breathe and feel, your heart rhythm begins to smooth, your brain synchronizes, and your whole system broadcasts a coherent signal. This is not about forcing positivity, it is about alignment. The feeling has to be authentic in the moment, even if small. If you can find just one genuine point of appreciation right now, you can step into coherence, and from coherence, you can step into the reset. In coherence, your body speaks the language of miracles. It tells the field, "This is the state I choose to live in." And because the field mirrors back what you are, it begins to deliver experiences that match that state. And now the technique itself. Your 7-second gateway. You have learned what the reset is. You have felt the science and the energy behind it. Now it is time to do it. Right here, right now, so you can carry it with you anywhere. This is the 7-second gateway, the moment where you collapse the old timeline and anchor the new one. The technique is simple, but its power lies in precision. Each second has a purpose. Each action builds on the last. Second one, stop and become aware. The reset begins with a pause. You cannot change a pattern you are unconscious of, so the moment you catch yourself in an old thought, emotion, or reaction, stop. Say internally, reset. This alone interrupts the autopilot and tells your system something new is about to happen. Awareness is the opening. Second two, shift your posture. Your body language communicates directly with your brain and nervous system. If you have been slouched or tense, straighten your spine, lift your chest, relax your shoulders. This tells your physiology, I am safe, I am open. The body responds instantly, beginning to change the chemical signals in your bloodstream. Second three, deep, coherent breath in. Inhale slowly through your nose, drawing the breath deep into your belly. This is not just about oxygen, it is about signaling the parasympathetic nervous system to step in, calming your body and quieting your mind. Imagine that breath pulling you into the present moment, away from the gravitational pull of the past. Second four, activate an elevated emotion. Here is where the reset ignites. Bring to mind a genuine feeling of gratitude, love, or joy. If nothing comes immediately, imagine the relief and peace of already living the reality you desire. Feel it as if it is happening right now. The emotion is the fuel that changes your energetic broadcast. Without it, the reset is just mechanical. Second five, visualize your desired state. While holding the elevated emotion, see yourself in the reality you want, not as a distant dream, but as your current truth. What does the environment look like? How do you carry yourself? How are people responding to you? Let the image be vivid, but more importantly, let it be felt. The field responds to the emotional reality more than the visual detail. Second six, anchor the identity. Now, speak to yourself in the identity of the version of you who already lives this life. Silently repeat, I am this now. I am here now. Identity is the most powerful command you can send to the quantum field. You are not trying to become, you are embodying. Your body and mind begin aligning to this identity immediately. Second seven, seal the state. As you exhale slowly, imagine sending this signal outward into the quantum field, like a ripple expanding in all directions. Trust that it is already being received. You do not chase it, you do not doubt it, you allow it. Feel a sense of completion, as if the shift has already happened, because in the energetic realm it has. That is it. 7 seconds. But within those seconds, you have changed your posture, your breath, your emotional state, your mental imagery, your identity, and your energetic signal. You have gone from broadcasting the frequency of the old reality to sending out the signature of the new one. The first few times you do this, it might feel subtle. That is fine. The quantum field does not measure intensity in the way your mind does. It measures coherence. Even a gentle, authentic state of alignment will create ripples. And here is the key: repetition compounds the effect. Every time you run the reset, you reinforce the new neural pathways in your brain. You strengthen the new emotional chemistry in your body, and you clarify the new signal in your field. What begins as a conscious technique becomes an unconscious habit, and then an embodied identity. Do not save it for perfect conditions. Use it in the middle of a stressful conversation, during a pause in your day, or right before making an important decision. You will find that the more you use it, the more natural it becomes, and the less effort it takes to drop into the state instantly. Ready? Let us do it together. Right now, your new timeline begins here. Pause. Straighten. Inhale. Feel. See. Become. Release. That is your 7 seconds. And now something has shifted, in you and around you. But why does it work so powerfully? Let us decode the mechanics. When you run the 7-second reset, you are not just calming your mind or thinking positive, you are interacting directly with the mechanics of reality itself, the laws that determine how possibilities in the quantum field become the physical experiences you live. 2 of these principles are especially important: quantum entanglement and the observer effect. Let us start with entanglement. In the quantum world, when 2 particles interact, they can become entangled, meaning that the state of one instantly influences the state of the other, no matter how far apart they are. Change one, and the other changes too. This is not theory. It has been proven in countless experiments. Now, imagine that every possibility in your life, every potential version of you, exists as a pattern in the quantum field. Through your thoughts, emotions, and energy, you are already entangled with certain versions more strongly than others. The reality you experience most is the one you are most energetically connected to. When you perform the reset, you deliberately alter your state, your thoughts, your feelings, your physiology, to match the reality you want. Because of entanglement, the moment you change your internal state, the probability connected to that version of reality begins to shift. You are strengthening the tie to the desired outcome and weakening the tie to the old one. Then there is the observer effect. In quantum physics, particles exist in a state of potential, a wave of possibilities, until they are observed. Observation forces the particle to choose a position. What is fascinating is that it is not only physical observation with the eyes that counts. In a deeper sense, attention itself is the observation. Every time you focus your awareness, especially when it is charged with emotion, you are acting as the observer, collapsing possibilities into a specific outcome. This is why random distracted thoughts do not create much change. The signal is weak, but a coherent, emotionally fueled focus, even for 7 seconds, has a much stronger impact on which potential becomes real. The reset combines these 2 principles in a way that is both simple and potent. In those 7 seconds, you break the old emotional and mental pattern. Step into the feeling and identity of your desired reality. Hold your attention there with clarity and coherence. This is like locking the coordinates in the quantum field. Through entanglement, the reality you have just embodied becomes more connected to you. Through the observer effect, you have told the field, "This is the version I choose." What is even more powerful is that the quantum field responds to your signal outside of time as you know it. The moment you shift, the ripple has already reached the web of connections that shapes your future experiences. You may see changes instantly, or they may weave their way into your life over the next hours, days, or weeks, but the shift has already happened at the level that matters most. This is why it is so important not to check for results with doubt or impatience. The field is not mechanical, it is relational. It responds to the steadiness of your signal. Hold your new state long enough, and the outer world will have no choice but to align with it. Your gaze, your belief, is the sculptor of quantum clay. Every time you choose to focus on the reality you want, with the emotion of already having it, you are shaping that clay into form. And even your body holds memory of this new signal. Your mind is not the only part of you that holds on to the past. Your body does too. Every experience you have ever had, every emotion you have felt, every stress you have endured, every joy you have embraced, leaves a trace. Over time, these traces become part of your cellular memory, influencing how your body responds to life before you even have time to think. This is not just metaphor. In the field of epigenetics, scientists have discovered that your environment, thoughts, and emotions can influence how your genes express themselves. Genes are like switches. They can be turned on or off, depending on the chemical signals they receive. Those signals are largely shaped by your emotional state and the hormones your body produces in response to it. When you live in a constant state of stress, frustration, or fear, your cells are bathed in stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, your body adapts to this chemical environment as if it is the normal state. This is why people can feel restless or uneasy even when nothing is wrong. Their body is simply accustomed to producing and expecting stress chemistry. But the reverse is also true. When you intentionally shift into elevated emotions like gratitude, love, and peace, as you do in the 7-second reset, your body begins producing a different chemical environment. Neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin, along with hormones like oxytocin, tell your cells, you are safe, you are supported, you are thriving. If repeated often enough, this new environment can literally change which genes are active and which are dormant. Think of your body as a library of memories. Some of those memories are empowering, others are disempowering. When you repeat an emotional state, you are essentially checking out the same book over and over, reinforcing the story. But with each reset, you choose a new book, a new story for your cells to reference. Over time, the old volumes gather dust, and the new ones become the dominant record. Your posture, your breathing patterns, even your facial expressions become part of this cellular memory. When you embody the state of your desired reality, you are not just playing pretend, you are teaching your cells what it feels like to live in that reality. The more familiar it becomes, the more your body assumes it is real and begins to act accordingly. This is why consistency matters. A single reset can create a spark, but repeated resets create a new baseline. They teach your body that this elevated state is not a rare event, but the new normal. Once your body accepts that, it stops waiting for proof from the outside world. It begins generating the proof from the inside. Every reset is a whisper to your DNA. You are safe to become, safe to let go of the old chemistry, the old reflexes, the old posture of living, safe to step into a state of alignment where your cells, your mind, and your energy are all working toward the same reality. Let us lock it in with repetition. The quantum field responds to the signal you send most consistently. This is why repetition is not just helpful, it is essential. One moment of alignment can create a shift, but it is the repeated return to that state that locks you into a new timeline. Think of your desired reality as a destination on a map. The 7-second reset is like setting your compass toward it, but if you only set the direction once and then drift back into old patterns, you will end up circling familiar ground. Repetition keeps you on course, strengthening the pathway between you and the version of reality you have chosen. From a neuroscience perspective, repetition is how neural plasticity works. Every time you enter the elevated state of your chosen timeline, you fire the same set of neurons. Neurons that fire together wire together, Eventually, those connections become so strong that they activate automatically. This is how a deliberate practice becomes a natural state of being. Energetically, repetition amplifies coherence. The more often you align your thoughts, emotions, and body with your desired state, the more stable your signal becomes. A signal that is stable and clear has far more influence in the quantum field than one that is strong but inconsistent. The field mirrors back the patterns it can trust, the ones you hold steadily. It is important to understand that repetition is not about forcing intensity every time. You do not have to feel fireworks with each reset. Even small, consistent returns to alignment are enough to shift your baseline frequency over time. In fact, gentle repetition often works better than occasional bursts of effort because it is easier for your body and mind to accept a gradual, steady change. Think of it like learning a new language. At first it feels awkward and you have to think about every word, but with regular practice, it becomes second nature. Eventually, you do not translate in your head anymore. You just speak in the same way. Repeated resets will eventually dissolve the separation between doing the reset and living in the state. It simply becomes who you are. There is also a deeper spiritual truth here. Every moment you return to alignment is a vote for the reality you want. The more votes you cast, the more that reality solidifies. The universe is not withholding your desires. It is simply matching the version of you that you choose to be most often. So build the habit. Use the reset in the morning to set your tone for the day. Use it at night to clear the slate before sleep. Use it in between tasks to keep your signal fresh. Every repetition is an anchor, dropping deeper into the ocean of your chosen reality, keeping you from drifting back to the old shore. The future you want does not need effort. It needs repetition. Let us pause here because now it is your turn. You have now seen how quickly the 7-second reset can shift your state, your signal, and your reality. But here is the part that turns it from a fascinating concept into a living transformation: daily use. Commit to using this reset every single day for the next 7 days, not as a chore, not as something to get right, but as an experiment. 7 days to see how your energy changes. 7 days to watch the synchronicities begin. 7 days to feel how much lighter, clearer, and more aligned you can be. It does not have to be at the same time each day, though you may find that anchoring it to a morning or evening routine helps. What matters is that you do it with full presence each time. Even if you only manage it once on a busy day, that is still one more signal you have sent into the quantum field. And here is what I want you to do alongside it. Keep a simple record. You do not need a journal filled with pages of detail, just a few lines each day. Write down when you did the reset, how you felt before, how you felt after, and any shifts or signs you noticed. You will be surprised how quickly patterns emerge when you track them. If this resonates, share your experience. Leave a comment describing how you felt after your first reset. If you notice something shifting, say it out loud. This not only inspires others, it reinforces your own identity as someone who consciously shapes their reality. If you commit for 7 days, you will see it: synchronicities, signs, shifts. And once you see them, you will know this is not just theory, it is your new way of living. And how do you know it is working? Look for these signs. When you start using the 7-second reset daily, the first changes you notice may not be massive events. They are often subtle, almost quiet at first. But these small signals are proof that your energy is shifting and your reality is beginning to bend around it. Recognizing them helps you trust the process and stay consistent. One of the clearest signs is emotional neutrality toward things that used to trigger you. You might find that a situation that would normally send you into frustration or anxiety barely stirs you now. This is not numbness, it is a sign that your emotional baseline is changing. The old program no longer hooks you because you have altered your energetic default. Another sign is unexpected opportunities appearing. These can be as simple as a conversation that leads to the exact information you needed, or as surprising as a sudden offer that aligns perfectly with your desires. These events are not random. They are the physical reflections of your new frequency interacting with the field. You may also notice repeating numbers or symbols showing up in your daily life. 11:11 on the clock, certain animals crossing your path, or specific words you hear multiple times in a short span. These synchronicities are like markers in the simulation, little winks from the field, confirming you are on a new trajectory. A powerful internal sign is a shift in self-talk. Without forcing it, you catch yourself thinking in a more empowered, expansive way. You might notice new beliefs emerging, as if they were always there but hidden. This is your subconscious integrating the identity you have been anchoring during the reset. It is also common to feel a pull toward new actions. You may find yourself making different choices without overthinking, walking a different route, reaching out to someone, or starting a project you'd been putting off. These impulses are your alignment in motion, guiding you toward the version of reality you have been calling in. And perhaps the most important sign is a deeper sense of trust. You stop obsessing over when or how things will happen, because you can feel, not just think, that it is already in motion. That calm certainty is both a result of the shift and a catalyst for more of it. Remember, these signs do not mean you made something happen. They mean you have tuned to a reality where those things naturally occur. Signs do not come to convince you. They come because you have already changed. You have felt the shift. Now let us make it your identity. Up until now, you have been practicing the 7-second reset as a technique, but the ultimate goal is not to keep doing the reset. It is to become the person for whom that state is natural. This is what I call stepping into your quantum identity. Your quantum identity is the version of you who does not just try to manifest, but naturally attracts aligned outcomes because their baseline state already matches their desired reality. This identity does not wait for proof. It creates it. It does not wonder if it is working. It knows. It does not oscillate between trust and doubt. It lives in the frequency of certainty. Identity is powerful because it sits at the root of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. If you see yourself as someone who is trying to create abundance, you will act, think, and feel from that place of striving. But if you see yourself as someone who is abundant, right now, your mind and body will align to maintain that reality. In the quantum field, the state of being always outweighs the state of wanting. Stepping into this identity means making subtle but profound shifts in how you carry yourself every day. You start asking, how would the version of me who already lives my desire breathe, walk, speak, respond? Then you practice that, not as a performance but as an embodiment. At first it is intentional, but soon it becomes second nature. This is where the repetition you have built so far pays off. Every time you have done the reset, you have rehearsed the state of your quantum identity. You have felt their emotions, seen their reality, anchored their posture. You have been wiring your brain and reconditioning your body to accept this version of you as the truth. Now, you let that version take over. You stop visiting your quantum identity only during the reset, and you start living from it in the in-between moments, when you are making coffee, answering messages, or walking down the street. The more consistently you do this, the less effort it takes, until the reset and your natural state are the same. This is also the space where manifestation becomes effortless. You no longer have to call in your desires, because your signal is already broadcasting the reality where they exist. You have become a vibrational match so consistently that the field organizes around you without resistance. Here is where we anchor it fully. Repeat these affirmations with presence, as if they are simply describing the truth of who you are. I reset now. I embody now. I receive now. You are the field. You are the command. Say them not from a place of hoping, but from the grounded certainty that they are already true. Feel your posture, your breathing, and your energy align as you speak them in your mind. This is your closing lock on the new identity. From here, the work is not to make things happen, but to stay in the state that makes them inevitable. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions will flow from this identity naturally, and the quantum field will respond in kind. If this shifted something in you, share it, comment, watch it again, and step forward as the one who manifests reality now.